Elsie.
And I'm Debbie.
And we're two sisters Southern cooking.
Hey y'all, it's Debbie. So we are going to be making a lemon cake today. It is a box cake mix, but we're going to jazz it up. You want to make it taste more homemade than a box cake mix, but we're going to be doing something special with this cake. We're making lemon curd and we're going to make a sandwich with it. We're making a top and a bottom. I don't know if you remember these from before, but they're made like a cookie. So we're going to go ahead and put our cake batter in there, bake it for 28-33 minutes as recommended on the box, and then we're going to take it out, let it cool down, and then we're going to make our lemon curd. So we'll be coming back with that for another video clip. But for right now, I'm going to go ahead and get started here. So in order to make it taste more homemade, I'm substituting the water for a cup of buttermilk, and I'm also adding an extra egg. So that usually gives it a nice rich flavor. Okay, adding in my oil and my buttermilk, yum. And then I'm going to add in my 4 eggs. Just to save time, I went ahead and cracked my eggs and got them ready. So they're all ready to go into our mixture. Now, because we are mixing this, there's 2 reasons why you mix it slow when you first start out. Is because 1, you're activating glutens, and number 2, you don't want a flour shower. So we'll go ahead and get started. Baking is a science. And you will learn very quickly that if you don't do things as directed, that you're not going to get the results you want. You know, I was thinking, Elsie, about we need to make another chess pie.
That's funny you say that.
With a buttermilk crust.
I was thinking a buttermilk pie.
A buttermilk. That sounds really good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and make sure I scrape this down before I start putting my batter into our little pans here. These pans, I think, are about 8-inch. They're not that deep, so we may have a tad bit of cake batter left over. Now, you don't want to fill these all the way to the top. You want to be a little bit from the top because it does have leavening agents that does cause it to rise, because you have either baking powder or baking soda in here, so that comes with the cake mix. So don't fill it all the way up to the edge or it will bubble over. All right. So we're going to I think that's probably good enough. But you don't want it all the way to the top. You just want it maybe about a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch from the top of the pan, just so it has room to grow. All right, just for the stability of these silicone molds, I'm going to put a pan underneath it so we can take this and be able to keep it level, and also it'll be more stable when we do that. All right guys, we're going to go ahead and get this in the oven, 350 degrees for 28 to 33 minutes, and we'll show you what it looks like when Elsie gets the cakes out of the oven, and she's going to be at the stove with the GoPro to make the lemon curd. We'll see you guys shortly.
Hey y'all, we are at the stove and I'm fixing to make the lemon curd for the lemon cakes that we have in the oven baking right now. So the first thing is I put 6 egg yolks into my pot and I whisk them up, and then I'll add in my sugar and whisk that until they are melted together and mixed together really well. And then you add in your lemon juice, and then you stir it until it starts to thicken and bubble, and then you remove it from the heat, and we're going to add in our cubed cold butter until that melts, and then you're ready to go.
Now moving on to making the lemon curd. So we whisked up 6 egg yolks in a medium pot with low heat, added sugar after we whisked it together. Then we allowed the sugar to melt from the crystallized state into a liquid, and then we were able to add the lemon juice. So we were hoping against hope that we wouldn't have to strain our lemon curd, but we ultimately ended up having to, because unfortunately our lemon juice had a few seeds in it, so we ended up having to strain it anyways. But the results of it took about 20 minutes or so on low heat. Elsie and I had to alternate because we still had the burning hands from the hot peppers, like the jalapeno and the Tabasco peppers were still burning our hands, and we were whisking with a metal whisk over a gas stove. So she would do it for a few minutes and I would do it for a few minutes just to give ourselves a break. But anyway, we did a constant whisking for about 20 minutes in order to get it to a boil. And it was rather difficult to get it to that point. And then once it started to boil, it thickened up. We were able to remove it from heat at that time and place our little pats of butter in it to melt and just give it that creamy texture. It was so delicious. Guys, this is a simple recipe, but it does take a lot of arm work. Now, I spared you guys from listening to the metal whisk in a metal pan. That's why I'm doing the voiceover work for this, because I wanted you guys to have a little bit of peacefulness while getting information. So we went ahead and strained our lemon curd through our strainer, and we ended up with probably about maybe 2 cups of lemon curd. We went ahead and strained it completely, and then we put it in this glass bowl that we are now using, and we put a plastic wrap over top of it, and we pushed it down to the curd, then placed it in the fridge once it cooled down to room temperature, and we let it get a little cold so it would set up perfectly on our cake. Now, just a little advice on this. Make sure that you do put the plastic down, because it will get a skin on the top of it, and that doesn't do well when you're trying to put that into your cake filling, because you will have like sheets of skin and you'll have to remove that, and it can be rather gross. So we ended up putting this on our lemon cake, and it was so good. It was such a big hit last night because it's a simple cake. You're taking a lemon cake box, just a regular like a cake box mix, and you jazz it up, and then you have this creamy decadent lemon curd in the middle of it. It was a big hit at our table last night. Family loved it. It was so delicious, and you should try this recipe because it's good.
Chelsea.
And I'm Debbie.
And
we're
we're
Two Sisters Southern Cooking. Please like, share, and subscribe.
Thank you.